Good evening, my friends. This is Paul, and I am finally going to be reviewing Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. Now, you're probably wondering, why didn't I review this game much sooner? Well, you see, Super Mario Party is kind of a boring game to play alone, and so when I tried to get friends to play with me, it went a little something like this. Hey, Matthew, you want to play some Super Mario Party?
Oh, Paul, I'm under all my blankets and pillows. Can't we do it another time?
Hey, Emily, you want to play some Super Mario Party with me?
I'd love to, but I have loads of homework from university.
Yeah, homework's the worst. How about when you're on break?
You mean you're willing to pay for Nintendo Switch Online just to play with me? Hello? Jeez, he sure is stingy with his money, isn't he?
Hey guys, I see you're having a bit of a dispute. Can I help?
Paul just doesn't want to pay for Nintendo Switch Online. Do you think you can convince him?
Just to play Super Mario Party? Oh, come on, Paul. You actually have a fan. I'll totally play with you guys too.
You guys didn't actually think that was the end of the video, did you? I mean, I haven't even showed you guys footage yet. Without further ado, let's talk about what happened when I finally got a chance to actually play Super Mario Party with the proper crowd. Alright, it's finally time to review Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. This had to be the hardest review I have ever had to do. Mostly because of all the coordinating I had to do with Miss Nekotendo and TheYellowKazoo to get them to do my opening skit. And in addition to the fact that this game just has so many modes that I was curious about how to structure it. But the biggest hurdle, by far, had to be the fact that this game was just not that great from a design standpoint as far as accommodating what I would want in a Mario Party game. You see, I grew up with the Nintendo 64 games. Back then, it was just a controller. Nothing more, nothing less. And while that's technically true here, the Joy-Cons have a variety of features that set it apart, that both makes this feel like a continuation of the Wii games, but at the same time feeling totally different. So, before I get into what makes me so frustrated with Super Mario Party's control schemes, let me talk about the variety of modes, which is definitely what'll make or break this game for you. I'm going to be exclusively showing content from Soundstage and River Survival because I think those are the most fun to watch. I didn't think you guys would be interested in just watching a bunch of rolling dice and players moving around a board. You could just watch a review for Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, and I'm not looking forward to doing that anytime soon. So, Super Mario Party has a party plaza, which is certainly new. In previous games, you kind of just had a menu. In the party plaza, you walk over to monitors that have a little preview of the mode you're about to play, and then you go up to the Toad and say, "Yo, I want to play it." Except the game doesn't have voice chat, so I guess you can't say "yo." And this really helps the game feel like it has a hub world, because you can talk to NPCs, and sometimes doing that will reveal secrets and new characters. I really liked this interactive element of the game, and to think we haven't even gotten started on the modes yet. In Soundstage, you're tasked with rhythm-based minigames, where you have to move the Joy-Cons at the beat of the music and based on the action that you're doing. In this footage, I stupidly chose the hardest difficulty when filming this, but once you get used to these games, these are a lot of fun, and it makes me wonder why Mario Party didn't dabble in more of these minigames more often. Then there's also River Survival, which is the second mode I'm going to be showing off, which has 4 players rowing down a river in a raft. You need to use the Joy-Con like an oar and coordinate who's going to be rowing on which side and how much pressure do you want to apply on the water to ensure that you're going in the direction you need. You'll need to pop balloons as you go along to be able to play cooperative minigames. Yeah, baby! Even I didn't see that one coming. And instead of trying to compete with each other, you have to work together, because everyone's going to lose if you don't get to the end of the river in time. The better you do in the minigame, the more time you'll have to get to the end of the river. The graphics in this mode really surprised me a lot. I mean, they're no PS4 caliber, but for a Switch game, the water effects, lighting, and all of that were absolutely stunning. This isn't the best looking game on the Switch by far, but it definitely feels like this had the most effort put into it out of the Mario Party games. Because the thing is, Mario Party games kind of tended to date themselves even before the system they were on was being dated. The original Mario Party, for example, looked so ugly that it even made other Nintendo 64 games look great. This game, on the other hand, is a pretty looking game. Granted, it still feels like a Mario spin-off at times, but on the other hand, it feels like way more effort was put into the presentation than usual. In Mario Party mode, that's where things take a more traditional turn, where each character gets either a regular dice block or a custom dice block that's more accustomed to the character's personality, which actually gives you an excuse as to which character to choose. Honestly, this reminds me of the good old days back in Mario Party 7 on the GameCube, when you would pick a character and they would have their own orb that they could use to change the strategy of the board. Now, well, you choose what you want to roll instead. And this proved to be okay in the main Mario Party mode, but once I got my friend Allison to come over and join me in Partner Party, that's when the real fun began. Basically, it took the main boards from Mario Party, and this time they had you working alongside a partner, in my case, a real-life friend. We would have to coordinate, okay, maybe if you use that die, then you'll be able to go on a specific space that you want. We'd have to work together in all of the mini-games, and we'd also have to coordinate who would go first, which person would go where, and it had to be the most amazing cooperative experience I have ever had in any form of entertainment, being it a mission trip icebreaker or a board game. It was just so much fun to have Allison be the easygoing idealist versus me, the careful strategist, working together to find the optimal route through a game where the computer seems like it's always cheating. And even though that certainly felt like the case here, it felt like we had way more control of our actions than we otherwise normally would have in the main game. And honestly, Partner Party was worth me renting this game alone for just how amazing it was to be able to really, really rely on each other's mental strength to get through this obstacle course. One thing that's really sad about both Mario Party and Partner Party modes is the fact that the boards are extremely bland and generic. Not only that, but you only start out with 3 and only unlock 1 more. So in case you're terrible at math like yours truly, that's a whopping 4 boards. To put that into perspective, Mario Party 1 for the Nintendo 64 had 8, and 7 of them were unlocked from the beginning. Granted, Mario Party the Top 100 for the 3DS only had 1 board, but that's a 3DS game. This is a Switch. Surely they could have squeezed more horsepower than that, unless they really wanted to focus on the minigames this time around, of which, mind you, Mario Party the Top 100 had 100. This has 80. But let's stop comparing for now. Suffice to say, even if there were a lot of boards, I still don't think that would have saved the boredom of the overall design. While the boards looked nice from an aesthetic standpoint, especially the Mega Fruit Island Paradise board, I felt like the designs just, I don't know, there was a lack of creativity to them. Back in Mario Party 2, you could have hootenannies on the board. You could have the Bowser Express chasing you along. You had a bank where you could deposit coins. In this, there's kind of just a whole lot of bleh. Like, yeah, there's still random chance cards, and there's still a great amount of luck that goes into it. Like, you might have the player that had the most bad luck is gonna get a star, and then all your hard work was for nothing. That's par for the course. That I can understand. Even the frustration I felt with when the computer players must have cheated was understandable. What wasn't was just that I just wasn't having that much fun on these boards. Even when I played them on the Nintendo 64, I enjoyed all the antics. I loved being able to plan out how to avoid Bowser. Now that Bowser's a playable character, replacing it with just generic Toad, Toadette, and Kamek, it has mixed results. I like what Kamek has to bring to the table, but Toad and Toadette, I don't know, I feel like those two have really worn out their welcome in spin-offs. And especially with how poorly the Toads have been treated in, say, Paper Mario Sticker Star, I kind of wish they would get games of their own besides Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Although, now that I said that, now I'm thinking there needs to be a legit sequel to that game instead of just DLC to a port of a Wii U game. Anyway, off topic. I promised that I would get to my issues with how Super Mario Party controls. And the main problem is that it's designed with one Joy-Con in mind. Now, this works well most of the time because the Joy-Cons don't require syncing like the Wii Motion Plus did. However, at the downside, it also means that you're not going to play the ideal experience in handheld mode. For me, it was really hard to have to put the Switch into a perfect, comfortable position and only be able to hold it with one hand while the other hand held the Joy-Con. Even worse were the times when the game would ask me to hold the Joy-Con sideways. And I would be like, okay, so now I have to put the Switch on my lap and then hold the Joy-Con with two of my hands. Now you could be saying, well, Paul, why didn't you just do it on a table? Well, that's because I didn't have a table at the time. See, you can't always have the optimal positioning experience for your Switch. And if only there was an option to display this with traditional controls. With all the amazing modes scattered throughout Super Mario Party, I wish maybe a little bit of thought might have been put into those who were exclusively playing in handheld mode. This worked okay on the TV, although for the life of me, my friend Alice and I just could not figure out how to give each other a high five when they would ask us to. At first I thought it was just because she's not the most coordinated person in the universe, but as it turned out, it really was the game trying to work against us. So yeah, the motion controls were hit or miss. And I really wish even a dual Joy-Con mode was available. Nevertheless, this is still a fine game to play multiplayer. Allison and I had so much fun, and I definitely think if I had even more people to play it with, this would just be a blast. However, you're probably wondering, okay, Paul, well, what's in it for the single player? Well, there's actually only one mode in the game that's actually designed with single player in mind, and that's the Challenge Road mode. There's also Toad's Rec Room, which, for the sake of time, I'm just going to say that they're little itty-bitty minigames that require you to put the Switch into various positions to have creative minigames, such as designing your own battlefield to play a tank game, or having one side of the Switch be the batter and the other side be the pitcher in a little baseball minigame. In Superstar Road, or Challenge Road, whatever you want to call it, you basically play in a grid like you're playing a new Super Mario Bros. Game, and you compete in basically almost every minigame the game has to offer, and you do various challenges to see if you can beat them, be it beating the minigame in a certain time or not touching the water. And this was surprisingly fun. The worst part of it, in my opinion, was the presentation. It felt like you were just moving along a generic line. You couldn't really interact with any of the players in the background that were either lounging on a chair at the beach or playing some fun games, or even just having a casual chat with each other. Although it did make me wonder why Mario and a Goomba would chat with each other. Like what? The Goomba would say, hey, you know, I really like it when you jump on me. Overall, Super Mario Party was kind of a dull game to play alone until I unlocked the Challenge Road, but because it had to be unlocked instead of being open from the start, I don't think it's worth suffering through the rest of the tedium just to get to the minigames. I think that should have been open from the get-go, and then this would have had a much better value. As it stands, the price tag for this is absolutely outrageous. If you have friends, I think the price tag couldn't be more accurate, as this is probably the best multiplayer experience you'll get on the Switch outside of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Kart 8, and maybe Rocket League. Actually just started playing that right before I started editing this, so turning pretty cool so far. That being said, I haven't even touched the online mode, and that's because I heard that it was really boring. It only has 10 minigames to choose from, and none of them are really that great, so I didn't even bother, even though I do have a Switch free trial. With that, that's going to end my review. Again, great if you have a lot of friends, but not so great if you're by yourself. So I want to give a quick shout out to Miss Nekotendo and TheYellowKazoo Both of them have really amazing channels of their own, and they do a great job of always responding to my comments, no matter what I might say, because you may have noticed I have kind of a sense of humor online that doesn't always translate well to certain personality types. That said, it did require a lot more work than I thought to get them to do this and coordinate and overall make the script be as funny and yet accessible as possible for them. So I highly encourage you to check out both of their channels. Links will be in the description. And with that, keep the faith, stay epic, and actually I'm going to let Emily finish this off because she's got a few things to say. Take it away, Emily.
Heyo, it's Miss Nekotendo. Thank you, Paul, the Catholic Nintendo nerd, for including me in this collab. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you haven't checked out his other reviews, make sure to do so. And until next time, game on.